Little, we change a lot.
Hey racing fans, this is Brie Marie inviting you to join me and James Rowland for the Finish Line every Sunday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Catch up with the local dirt track drivers, national racers, and everyone you need to know about in the world of racing. Don't spin your wheels, hit the gas, and join us Sundays at 7 p.m. for the Finish Line on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Men in Nebraska can be set in their ways, but they can also be quick to change their minds. Just 10 minutes can be enough to step back and rethink the life-ending decision of suicide. If you have a friend or family member who's struggling with depression, talk to them about temporarily storing their guns away from their home. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Make this your best football season yet with help from Limitless Mail. If you're struggling with low energy, muscle loss, brain fog, belly fat, mood swings, it's likely low testosterone, and Limitless Mail can fix that. We've helped over 100,000 men feel stronger, leaner, sharper, and more like themselves again. Don't sit on the sidelines this season. Take control. Book your free consult today at limitlessmail.com. That's limitlessmail.com.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
You've been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn. At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law Group at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. It's back. He's back. Chris Raff is back. This is Raff's Good Take on Sports. We got the man himself streaming in. We got the commercial banner for you, Raff. I don't know if you saw that part. Still working on the music, but we'll get that to you sooner than later. If you guys want to join in, we are live. The Royals are off the brick and mortar. Unfortunately, they fall 0-2 to the Guardians. But on the bright side, that means we're live here locally on the brick and mortar. 402-464-585. That is the Starter Heyman text line, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. Chris Raff, how's it going on Tuesday?
Going pretty good. Not too bad. Good little Tuesday. Making our way through the week. It's crazy when football season comes where you kind of gauge your entire week, basically like when is Saturday or when is that Thursday night football game. You got the Commanders Oh, why am I forgetting the Commanders? And it's a good game. And I'm
Packers,
forgetting
I think, right?
Commanders and Packers. Yep, you are correct. So you got a little Micah Parsons and Daniels going up against each other. So that'll be a really good Thursday game. But it's crazy how you gauge your entire week just on when the next football game is.
Yeah, and it becomes a sick habit. Let me check the notes you sent me. Yeah, the Bears aren't on there, so we're good.
Yeah, I thought about recapping that game, but I mean, no, I can't do that to you. I mean, it's disappointing. It was crazy, to see McCarthy. I mean, he for 3 quarters he struggled, but man, that fourth quarter he accounted for 3 touchdowns and
back-to-back drives.
Yeah, tough day. I felt bad for you and the Jeff Essings of the world, that big Bears fans. So
yeah, I'll say this. Shout out to McCarthy and the Vikings. That's a win where you just kind of walk out impressed. McCarthy hasn't played a game since 24 against Ohio State in Michigan. Or not in Michigan, for Michigan against Ohio State.
Title game.
Like, it's been a while, and he got it together in the fourth quarter, then put 3 scoring drives straight together and found a way to win the game. So shout out to McCarthy. I wish it didn't happen that early for you, but he found some confidence.
I saw my buddy Stan. He got up early and flew from, like, I believe Fort Lauderdale, Florida, all the way up to Chicago for the game last night. So I guess it could have been that bad. I mean, that is the worst, is when you pack up and you go to a game. Like, I always go back to the 2001 game, Nebraska versus Colorado. I got up at like 3 a.m, drove to Boulder, saw Nebraska get beat 62-24, and then I drove back that night.
That's
all by myself.
A long time on the road to think about the game too. Like, it's not going to escape your memory when you're on the road. They're driving for that long.
Yeah, all by myself. So that made it even better. So I was just like, man. But yeah, that was a tough drive. But then it was crazy. Was it 2 weeks later? It came out, the announcement that they made it to the Rose Bowl, which a lot of people are like, "Holy cow!" But I mean, I was happy about the situation because the trip to the Rose Bowl, I mean, other than the game, I mean, the trip was fantastic. So thank you thank you to those voters, I guess, back in the day, or however they did it back then. Because I mean, that's one of our topics for tonight, is the AP voters. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, and it's not just Haley Sawyer, the one that voted Florida 14th to, I guess it would have been yesterday. But there's other stuff that took place, in that AP poll. And I know it doesn't really mean as much these days because you have the BCS. But I mean, if you're the AP and you're giving 62 voters across the nation, basically the credentials that say you are an AP voter, you think that they would all do their homework and, have some semblance of, of a ranking system. You look at you look at Baylor SMU game, for instance. Baylor defeats SMU. However, there were 14 voters that had SMU ranked and not Baylor. It's like they just played each other. I mean, it's head to head. And it just to me, it just seems like they're just not doing their homework and not looking at the scores. And like that Haley Sawyer, she talked about how it would all work itself out. But it's like, I understand if you think that way, but it's crazy. They talk about, this is an old voter story that comes from the 94 Orange Bowl. So recall, Nebraska defeats Miami 24-17. By all accounts and purposes, Nebraska's won the national title. However, if you remember that year, Penn State, sorry, Coach Rule, Penn State was undefeated too, and they had a stake at the national title too. Well, Coach Osborne got back to the hotel. He almost forgot to put his coach's poll vote in that night. If he does not put his vote in for Nebraska #1, Penn State, and it would have been a split national title that year. So when you say one vote does not make a difference, and in some cases it does, and I know it's not the end of the world being that we're in week 2 of college football, but it's just, to me, it's just like, you have a lot of people out there that, take college football very seriously, and just have someone out there just saying, well, it'll work itself out. It's like, do some homework. I mean, that's like us. I mean, we do our homework before we come on the air, so we're able to, talk sports, and we're not just sitting here going, so what happened today, Harrison? I haven't watched any sports today. Can you tell me what happened? I mean, that is the worst, when I listen to a radio program and I hear somebody ask the producer, what happened in the day of sports. I mean, this is why we're on the radio. So that's my 2 cents on, doing your homework in the AP polls.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Similar to like what this job is, and I say it enough, so I don't go too long on it. But I get some sort of a privilege that the fact that you get paid to do this at all is, pretty miraculous. A lot of people had to do some pretty hard jobs, for a long time before we got to a point today where I can literally sit here and get paid with my butt in a seat, sitting on a mic, just talking about things I like to watch on my own free time, and I can be lazy about it and not do my homework and just keep taking the paychecks and doing a really easy job, or I can actually respect it for what it is as a wonderful opportunity. And that's kind of the same thing with the AP poll. It's like, is it the worst thing in the world? No, but it's kind of a slap in the face to the respect of the entire thing. And
exactly,
people have always had problems with the AP poll. And when you see stuff like that, and to your point, it's not just Sawyer. Haley Sawyer is the only one guilty of it. But it's like, what are we doing here? These do set up what we consider these playoff teams. And when you're just going to avoid scores, or not even avoid it, just not even put the time in to look at it, it looks bad on you in particular, and then everybody involved with the AP poll. I've never understood how they decide who gets to vote, because I feel like this one is out there on social media, but this probably happens all the time.
Yeah, no, it's to me, it's crazy. I was looking before we came on the air that there's 62 sports writers that make up the AP poll, and it's like, it's not really. I really is trying to figure out, how they are selected. So
I know McEwen's one of them. Sam McEwen is, I believe, one of the voters.
So I don't know if it's something, if they look within, the certain state or the states, and they're like, okay, this is somebody that's in contention. I've seen a lot of AP voters that have given up their vote, and they've not wanted to be a voter no more, just in instances where this has took place, because it's looked down upon, like, the whole establishment, not just one person. It's looked at the entire AP poll. It's like, well, where's the credibility at, if you're voting teams that have just lost the previous week and not getting votes, while the team that lost is getting votes. It's a weird world. But like I said, in today's world, it all basically comes down, to the BCS, when those rankings come out, to be in that top 12 teams, or however it plays out with how they do it these years.
Yeah, I guess just something to talk about. Maybe that's the fooling us all. It's like, they got us.
Yep, they got the attention. Mm-hmm. Everybody be looking at the AP polls. I noticed Nebraska got 10 votes this week, so we're on our way. Big victory over HCU this upcoming week, and put us up to about 20 votes, and then top 25 after we beat Michigan and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we beat HCU at least 20 more votes now. I wouldn't be surprised if we get the same amount of votes, but yeah, we'll really find out versus Michigan in that game. Try not to look ahead, Raff, but
I never look ahead. I'm one game at a time. I've learned my lesson through the years about my predictions and undefeated seasons and stuff like that. Still, the funniest thing was when me and AD did our first show. It's been, over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. And we came on, we made our predictions for the upcoming Nebraska season, and we predicted them to go undefeated. That failed miserably. So we stayed away from predictions.
On my credibility, because I was the new young blood, and I was the producers, the drive with AD and Raff, and I was the new face on there. And I was like, well, these guys are former Huskers, man. They know what they're talking about. If they're saying undefeated, who am I to say not undefeated? So I put my score prediction right up there, kind of following along with you guys, and I looked like an idiot. It just looked like the worst sports take on there. For you guys get away with it because you're former athletes, because you want them to do well. Me, as someone who's supposed to be unbiased, looking from the outside, it was way off. Should not have followed you guys on that.
The best part is we never talked about it last year. We never made predictions, but we'd go through the schedule, and the AD never fails. But like when you're playing, when you're like making your predictions and you look at the games, I mean, I see, like they taught like Dylan Raiola when he was at the Big Ten media days and said that, nothing short of a national championship. But and you hear that and you sort of like roll your eyes and you're like, oh, come on now, but when you're, in that position and you look at your schedule and stuff like that, if you're looking at a game where you think you should lose, should you even be walking on the field to begin with? I mean, I've always been that way. I mean, I've taken my losses through the years, but I've always, every time I've ever played a sport or, every time I walked on the football field, I always, expected to win. I mean, yes, there is some great obstacles, during my coaching career, the first year we played, but still I prepared the week before. I prepared going into battle, to win the game. So I understand it when people are like, well, we can win every game. But so it's one of those, catch 22s, because I guarantee you, if me and AD looked at the schedule for this year, we'd probably go, yeah, we can win every game. But then we've kind of, in our latter years, we can also be like, well, but we could also lose every game. So I guess that's where things have changed a little bit for us.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always kind of I deal with my Bears every offseason. Like, do you want to sit around and just kick rocks? I mean, like, oh, here we go. Here comes my football team. I just can't wait for them to lose all the. No, you're optimistic. You're excited. You're looking for a new horizon. And when it comes to Nebraska football, it's easy to roll your eyes on it. But then you look at teams like Indiana last year, and then Illinois, quiet 10-3. And then you look around and you don't want to do the comparisons because that's always the thief of joy. But like, you see other programs do it with a less. Yeah. So then there is some expectation where it's like, we've talked about facilities before. Is there a better facility right now to develop yourself into becoming a premier athlete than Nebraska? Maybe, but not by a lot if it's even exists. I mean, what we have gets compared to what these NFL teams have. And even some of those NFL owners, GM, they'll come down there and be like, we don't even have some of the stuff that you guys have. This is next level. You can walk off the practice field, go straight to the training table, then walk straight into your red light therapy, your cool tub, your hot tub, go play some pool, hang around a little bit more, go to meetings. I mean, go hop in the sleep pod if you're a little bit. There is every tool there to become the best possible athlete that you want to be, but you got to put in the work. So it's fair to have some expectations. And I don't think it's very fun just to be the guy who's always negative all the time because it hasn't worked before. Let's just never get my hopes up and let's just bash on the possibility that Nebraska football could be good. We don't know, but I mean, you can have some reasons to be optimistic without just being haunted by everything in the past.
Yeah. And also too, I keep on thinking to myself, I think we're due. I mean, Nebraska, I try to think back to a game that where Nebraska, the only game I can really think of right now is that Michigan State game. I think it was 6-7 years ago. I think, was it Brandon Riley made the? Was it Brandon Riley? Yeah, Brandon Riley made the catch out of bounds.
He ran out of bounds, and they didn't call it.
But that's
actually they reviewed it, I think, and they said it was fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but that's like one of the only games that I can really remember where Nebraska, I don't think was really predicted to win because I remember Michigan State, I believe, was undefeated coming into that game. But you think about games over the last 10, 15 years where Nebraska was the underdog, and they lived up to being the underdog. But I think Nebraska's due to get a victory over a top 10 team, and not even just Nebraska. Coach Rule, he's in that same boat. So I think everything's coming together at the right time for Nebraska to finally start I guess you'd say upsetting some top 10, top 20 teams.
You'd hope so. I mean, ironically enough, Ohio State's been in Nebraska's crosshairs for the longest time to be that game. We always play Ohio State better than we should. And maybe that's not the right way to phrase that, but it's always a lot closer than what the spread would indicate. Last year was an obvious example, but even years prior, where it gets a little bit closer than anybody anticipates. And Ohio State's kind of been in that crosshair. Like, can we finally get a big win? We don't have them this year, but we do get Michigan. And I think you're right. I mean, you never want to play the luck game, but at a certain point in time, with how close a lot of these games are, and you've seen Nebraska push some of these tougher opponents around, Oklahoma will be a big ranked opponent for us. It will, depending on what they do this upcoming week. I'm not sure who they got. but they're obviously going to be upset. They're coming off loss to Oklahoma. I think they'll bounce back, but I mean, that's just going to be another opportunity. And that's what this program needs really badly, is a statement win. Every time we get that primetime TV slot, every time we get the spotlight on us to say, maybe Nebraska's back, we just quickly reply, not yet. So that's how you sell your program. You see Matt Rule hopping on Pat McAfee and doing all this extra stuff, the House Rule podcast, trying to sell the program. The best way to sell programs is to beat top tier opponents. And that's the next step. I shouldn't say that. We got to beat the middle of the pack Big Ten teams consistently. But if you can mix in a top 10, top 20, even just top 25, I don't care at this point, a ranked win, we'll take it.
Yeah. So do you go with House Rules or Rules House? Which one do you prefer?
Is it House Rules? I don't even know what it's called. I thought it was House Rules.
House Rules is the name of this podcast, but Pat McAfee was talking to him about, he kept on saying Rules House. Whose house? Rules House. So they were talking about it on his podcast this past week about maybe changing the name. I think I'm good with House Rules. So
yeah, being knowing Matt Rule, he's not going to want to go Rules House. It's going to be too gaudy for him, knowing that type of way he's thinking. But yeah, I mean, we talk about it. It's just a matter of time before it's got to happen, though. Nebraska football can only go as far as its best win, and we just haven't had a whole lot of best wins so far.
I got to think of a nickname for you, because Coach Rule's got Cuz that he on his podcast he calls Anthony Gargano, calls him Cuz. So maybe I need to think of a nickname for you. I'll have to think about that. Or if any of the listeners want to text in, what potential nickname I can use. Since Cuz is already taken.
Yeah, don't talk to AD. I think I made the joke yesterday, but whatever AD gives you, don't use it.
Don't use it.
It's going to be slightly derogatory, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. We've got to figure out that. It's a lot of fun, and we're still figuring out some of the new segments we want to do with this whole hour here. I do think a mailbag would be a lot of fun, Chris Raff, because I know you got some roadies that are always desperate to get Raff's take on what you have to say.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to designate like a night every week where we'll have the mailbag. We'll have a one of the sections of the show will be the mailbag, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Anything left to add before we throw it to break here? As we're about 2 minutes. Well, not even. I'm going to throw it to break right now.
Yeah, we can throw it to break right now. This is. I'm even getting the name of the show. I got it. Ralph's Good Take on Sports. I got to get the name right and correct. I get nervous around you, Harrison. I don't know what it is. All those years around Nick, never nervous. I get around you, I feel like I have to lift my game up to a whole different level.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's the nighttime hours. It's a tight ship around here, and we keep everybody locked in. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I couldn't tell you. I'll tell you what. A lot of people around the weeknight are the polar opposite of you, where I got to remind them the FCC still listens past 6 o'clock. So I mean, not offended by it at all. It's a good thing that you're still aware that the FCC exists at these hours.
Oh yeah, nope. I have to be tip-top professional with you, because when I'm dealing with the best in the business, I've got to raise my level, and I got to raise my expectations.
Take that, Stephen A. Smith, Joel Klatt, whoever else that you may listen to. But with that being said, we do actually have to throw it to break. We'll talk to you on the other side. Segment number 2. This is Raff's Good Take on Sports. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit. 93.7 The Ticket.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
When you live a tobacco-free life, you're free to live more fully. You're free to be more active and to breathe easier when you are. To be more present with family and friends, and to enjoy food and drinks more fully without nicotine dulling your senses. Tobacco-free can mean better physical health, mental health, and financial health. Giving up tobacco can give you more life. Learn more at quitnow.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired in association with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you live a tobacco-free life, you're free to live more fully. You're free to be more active and to breathe easier when you are, to be more present with family and friends, and to enjoy food and drinks more fully without nicotine dulling your senses. Tobacco-free can mean better physical health, mental health, and financial health. Giving up tobacco can give you more life. Learn more at quitnow.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired in association with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
In Nebraska, we show up when friends need help. We check in on our neighbors. That's why it's important to know the warning signs of suicide. If you have a friend or neighbor who's withdrawn, stressed, agitated, or talks about suicide, find out how you can help. Call, text, or chat 988 for 24/7 support. You have the power to save a life. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Welcome back, race fans, to the finish line every Sunday night. I'm James Rowland. Join Bree Marie and me every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket FM or theticketfm.com for the finish line. All the latest news for local and national motorsports, all in one place. 93.7 The Ticket FM.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Ticket Weeknights. This is Raff's Good Take. Raff's Good Take on Sport. They did have it right the first time. You guys are always welcome to join in. Started him in Fax Line as well as any of these streams. And Chris Raff, the floor is yours. I know your Broncos are trying to cook something up.
You better believe it. I believe you said the fax line. If we get a fax in there tonight, that is going to be the coolest thing ever.
Honestly, a fax would be really cool. There is some excitement that we lost when we moved away from the fax machine. There's a little bit of anticipation while you're waiting for that thing to print out. Now everything's too instant gratification.
It's crazy the things that are going away that no one will remember here in the next, even now, if you say fax machine, some people are like, fax machine, what's a fax machine? And it's like how in 10 years from now, people are going to look back like the great Denver Bronco debacle. And this has been about, it's going on 12, 13 years ago. Elvis Dumerville. He had to get his fax in with his signed contract, and he sent it 2 minutes after the deadline, and he ended up signing with the Baltimore Ravens. So the Broncos missed out on that. But I think he had already maybe decided he wasn't coming back to Denver and might have just said he didn't get the fax in time. But
yeah, that whole generation is, I guess I'll speak for myself. A lot of kids in my generation, like the 90s, early 2000s, not in terms of us IQ wise, but probably like one of the dumbest generations to kind of live through. Like we grew up on the stuff that would immediately get removed the day we left school. Like learning cursive for it to get thrown out the window, learning, you're taking notes with the projector where they just project it to the board. And that's how you're taking your notes for the wheel in that. Did you do keyboarding or did you use a real old fashioned typewriter? Yeah, we had keyboarding. Yeah, that was part of it. We did keyboarding.
We had the old school typewriters back in the day. Like I remember too, talking about newspapers. That's another thing. I grew up a little kid. My favorite part of the morning was going to the front door, grabbing the newspaper, opening up Lincoln Journal-Star sports section and looking at, all the batting averages and all the box scores of all the baseball games and all the football games. My knowledge of, I wouldn't know it now. My Major League Baseball knowledge is fleeting, but back when I was a little kid, I knew every player, every team, every lineup, because every morning I was looking at the box score to see, how players did every night. And that's just one thing that, you just don't see anymore.
Now, like we had entire assignments where all your sources had to be from newspapers. And again, just kind of a crazy generation, like just for like a lot of people my age, like to get to the real world. And it's like, well, yeah, you're not doing any of that stuff anymore. Like no one does that. That's crazy. I don't know. Do
you know the Dewey Decimal System? Is that still?
Yeah, that's still going. That's still well and strong.
Good. I spent probably a year in grade school. Well, probably 3 years in grade school learning the Dewey Decimal System. So big shout out to my librarian, Irene Moore. I don't know why I still remember her name, but Mrs. Moore. I'm guessing she's probably not with us anymore, but Mrs. Moore, thank you for teaching me the Dewey Decimal System. It made me a better person.
Real quick from the text line, just because I know he's listening and he wants to hear your response. He said, "Good to hear you, Dr. Raff." Puts the title on there. He says, "Can't wait until the matchup of the century, October 26th. Cowboys versus Broncos from your very own P. Ferguson."
Oh, good Lord. Matchup of the century. Well, little worried, Mike Parsons is going to be, pillar off the end. But, oh yeah, wait a second. Sorry, Pete. That's too soon. I understand they wanted to save some money, paying what they've paid, but the 2 first-round draft picks just make no sense to me, being that the Packers are going to be good. So what are they going to get? Mid to late 20s, picks, or 20 to 32. So I don't know if that was the wisest of trades for the gambler, Jerry Jones. But if you haven't seen his Netflix documentary yet, check it out. It's really good.
He's an enigma because, hear me out when I say this. He reminds me of Russell Westbrook. And what I mean by that is, if you watch the documentary, like you realize Jerry Jones kind of shaped what the NFL is today, and how it operates. So it's like he's at a point now where maybe he is a little bit old school on how he's trying to go about things, but he's like, why the hell would I listen to any of you guys? If I would have listened to you guys before, I wouldn't be in this position. No, I'm not listening. Russell Westbrook, same thing. When everyone was kind of telling him, like later in his career, you need to pass the ball, you need to do X, Y, you need more of a role player. He was like, shut up. I wouldn't have been drafted. I wouldn't have won an MVP. If I would have listened to you guys at any point, I would never have been in the position I'm in. Therefore, I refuse to listen. And they're kind of right and wrong all at the same time. Because it's like, well, you're right. If you would have listened to us, you wouldn't be where you're at today. But at the same time, maybe if you listened to us now, you would have still had Micah Parsons. Maybe you would have paid him earlier and never would have let it get to the situation if you're Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I'll say one thing though with the Micah Parsons contract. I was like, oh my goodness, the Broncos are going to be in trouble with Nick Bonito. And Nick Bonito did not break the bank with his new contract. I mean, it's still up there. Is it 4 years? I think 120 million, I believe, 76 guaranteed, I think. But I was expecting it to be up there closer to the Micah Parsons range. So I was a little bit worried about that, but thankfully, Nick Bonito is, I think he sees what's developing in Denver. I mean, their defense, it's swarming. It's exciting to watch. Hopefully the offense can pick it up. Speaking of the Broncos, how about that announcement today? Looks like they've set their sights on a new stadium for the city of Denver. Going to be in the old Burnham Rail Yard. It's just south, from reading and looking at it, it's just southeast of the stadium where it sits now. So it's across Colfax, 58 acres. A lot of Denver Bronco fans are flipping out because it's going to be a retractable roof stadium. And a lot of the fans are like, we want to play in the elements. We want to play in the weather. And I'll tell you what, when you have to play in the weather, yeah, those games can be fun. But if you would ask John Elway and all the years that he had to play in the snow or rain games and stuff like that, John Elway could not throw the football in the snow and the rain. And he would definitely be like, shut the roof right away, because it's going to be real grass. So I'm excited to see it's supposed to open in 2031. So I got to live for at least 5 more years or 6 more years. Come on, Chris, you got this.
Well, Raff, this is fun too, because you know who else is trying to build a new football stadium? The Chicago Bears.
Oh boy.
And ours unfortunately has a lot more politics involved with it. It's been a mess, but it feels like they finally settled on it. And what this feels like, it's the race to host the Super Bowl, Chris Raff.
Yeah.
It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And, you are right. I can't imagine what Green Bay Packers fans would do if you just even mentioned the idea of putting a roof over top of it. They would scream bloody murder. But do you want to host the Super Bowl or not?
Yeah, no. My thing with this is when it's your only option, you play the game in the snow. But I mean, if you have the option to have a retractable roof, being a fan, snow games are cool to watch on TV, but if I'm going there, I don't want to be wearing gloves and mittens and being miserable the entire game. I dealt with that 89 Oklahoma game down in Norman. It was miserable. I mean, yes, Nebraska won, but I'll tell you what, it was horrible at halftime when you're thinking to yourself, maybe we should leave, because it was that miserable down there that day. So and another thing about the Broncos new stadium, well, the naming rights, I don't know it'll probably be Walmart Stadium is what I'm guessing, because out of the past 9 stadiums that have been built in the NFL, they've had to use tax money. So they've had to go to the voters, and that's an average of $750 million per city to build a new stadium. The Pinner family, Greg and Carrie Pinner, Walton, they are funding it all on their own. So they don't have to go to the taxpayers of Denver. And what they're going to do is, going back to Jerry Jones, is that stadium, it's on 58 acres. It's going to be one of those places where they're going to put, hotels and restaurants and stuff. And it's going to be something that you can go visit year round. And there's going to be concerts and stuff. So it's going to be really cool for the city of Denver. And just that, they don't have to go to the voters, and they don't have to ask, them, hey, foot this tax to pay for this stadium. They're paying for it all on their own.
Yeah. And try not to get too ranty on this. That part drives me nuts when it does come to these new stadiums, is because the Royals and Chiefs went through it not too long ago. Like, why are the billionaires meeting in a room all the time asking for tax money? Like, you guys, the drop in the bucket, put it together. Like, I sometimes, as much as you love your team, it's good for the city to be like, no, you guys can pay for it yourself. And shout out to the I don't think they really ever had this problem over with the Broncos. I think the people who are in charge of it right now were never. I don't think they were ever pushing it to try to get it taxed too hard, were they?
Well, no, this one actually, this is the brainchild of the Pinner family because, honestly, the stadium they play at now is only 24 years old at Power Field at Mile High. It's not like decrepit by no means, but this is just something the family, just to make it more for the city and for the fans, is something that they want to do. I do remember though when they built Empower Field, which when it first began, I think it was in Vesco Field at Mile High, but they did have to go to the voters to get a tax. But what helped is at that time was the Broncos were coming off 2 consecutive Super Bowl victories. So when they went to the voters, that tax, passed fairly easily. So they were able to put money in, from the city to build that stadium. But like I said, this one is going to be all Walmart money. So I'd assume it'll end up being Walmart at Mile High would be my guess. Maybe we'll have like Walmarts, throughout the stadium or something like that.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, nice little Walmart gift shop on the way into the stadium. Go get what you need.
Yeah, it might be a few notches better than that. I'm guessing from what the talk of it, it's going to be quite the spectacle because they've made it clear they're going for the Super Bowl and they're going for Final Fours. So,
well, I'll tell you what, you're not getting that Super Bowl. It's going to Chicago. When we get to that, if the Bears can get theirs done in time, I do think there's legitimately a race to see who can go ahead and host that thing. Because when you're putting these new stadiums together, that's obviously maybe not obvious, but to me, it seems like a very big part of it. Like you would want to promote it by hosting the Super Bowl. And it's kind of been known in the NFL. If you go ahead and build a nice newest stadium, it worked out for Tom Brady really well, where they got to host at home at Tampa Bay. They got to host Super Bowl. But if you can build a new arena, you're probably going to go ahead and host the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see how both of those go. Both have pretty long construction timelines so far. So we'll see how they go. And we always know there'll be some sort of kink that pushes it back a little bit. Rarely does this stuff ever get done early. I'd be impressed if it does. Maybe the Broncos does go a little bit quicker though, because doesn't have so much red tape around it and they're not going through the city. So if I actually had to take a bet, it doesn't really kill me. I would think that the Broncos probably the more likely teams go ahead and host it because, to your point, because they're not really going through the city through a lot of in terms of funding. I don't think there's going to be as much red tape problems getting that thing done.
The one thing I will say though, with the new stadium, if that stadium opens up in 2031, and if there is not a John Elway statue outside that stadium, I will riot. I still can't believe there's not one outside the stadium there in Denver. I'm befuddled by that.
I'll join you.
Should have had a statue there at least 20 years ago.
I agree. If they don't do it, I'll stop shopping at Walmart.
Yep, me too. Boycott. We're going to have to stop building the stadium due to our Walmart boycott.
They just need one Shaq to go through there, and he's got us through the entire year covered. So they might not miss us too much. But yeah, super interesting. I'm looking forward to it. The Bears has needed it for a long time. Mile High doesn't need it as much. Last time I was there, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe the area wasn't necessarily great. As there's that, when I was there, I had some people telling me to kind of stay away from these areas, and it was really close to the stadium. Yeah. Not sure if they were just giving me a bunch of BS, or were you totally okay with where Mile High location was to begin with?
Oh, I guess I was used to it because that's where it's been, since it was Bears Field, back in the, the 50s, and then in 60, Denver moved into Denver Bears Field. So, I mean, I was always in the area, it aged, it was aged out. But the thing with that is that stadium is it was kind of plugged in there. So there was never, no places except the Pinners, at first they talked about maybe just staying there. But with the dreams and what they have, there's just no room, with the parking lots and stuff like that to put stuff in. So I'm excited to see, what this 58 acres, what they can do with this and what they can turn it into. I just want just a completely, Denver Broncos megaplex, just Broncos stuff all over the place. So when Pete Ferguson drives through there, he can see what the greatest team in the world looks like.
Yeah, there's I do wonder sometimes if there is a line where it does become too much. Like we might get to a point where these football stadiums are like mini Disneylands for football fans, where it's like just spend the whole day here. It's a Disneyland for football fans, and it's maybe that's a good version of football. I mean, it's a lot more money into it, but you're always going to have the traditionalist group that doesn't want that. They just want to show up and watch the gritty football game. But I'm kind of in the middle of like, I don't really care too much. I'm not going to go to every single Bears game. And if I do get the opportunity to, I wouldn't really want to sit in like -2-degree weather and a freezing Chicago day. So that's kind of where I fall on it. I can understand the romantic part where some people like the old school stuff, but a new stadium's nice. You can't deny it.
Yeah, it looks, I mean, and it looks, the games in the snow and the mud and the rain, it looks great on TV. But man, I'll tell you what, to be there and experience it, I mean, those Bills fans, I mean, they're a whole different level. I mean, but
we're the only ones that can say we don't want a roof and we won't get one, because they scoop the snow out before the games just so they can sit there. Yeah. So those guys, they deserve to have no roof if they want to go that way.
I believe those Bills fans when they say they want to play outdoors. But I mean, I've got to the point now in my life where I'm like, retractable roof? Oh yeah, let's do it. I'm more than happy with that. So, but I guess I've got a little bougie in my old age.
Hey, you know what? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with the finer things in life, especially as you get to those wiser years. All right, Chris Raff, we do got to throw it to break again. I'll let you tee up segment 3.
All right. We're going to throw it to break. This is Raff's Good Take on Sports, and we'll be right back.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through September 14th, enjoy 10-ounce USDA choice top sirloins for $7.99 each. All natural 5-ounce pork ribeye chops, 5 for $5. All natural pork belly, $3.99 per pound, and Bush Light 30 packs for just $18.99. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
They're too young to vape.
E-cigarettes are the most used tobacco products among youth. They know vaping is dangerous, don't they? The majority of youth who vape use flavored products, the kind designed to seem harmless.
If they were vaping, I'd be able to tell.
Many vapes are small, discreet, and resemble everyday items. Don't avoid the conversation. Talk to your kids about vaping. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired in association with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Hey guys, it's Nick. We had a great Week 1 high school football matchup where Lincoln North Star got the 14-10 win over Lincoln Southwest, but now it's time to turn our attention to one of the best rivalries in Nebraska. This Friday at 8 p.m., join me and Jay Foreman for Lincoln Southeast versus Lincoln Southwest. Southeast is coming in off of a dominating 30-0 win versus Grand Island, while the Silverhawks look to get their first win of the 2025 season. Kickoff is slated for 8 p.m. from Seacrest Field, with pregame coverage beginning at 7:45. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday night for Lincoln Southeast versus Lincoln Southwest, right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through September 14th, enjoy 10-ounce USDA choice top sirloins for $7.99 each. All natural 5-ounce pork ribeye chops, 5 for $5. All natural pork belly, $3.99 per pound, and Bush Light 30 packs for just $18.99. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. Final segment. Raff's good take on sports, and it's time for Raff's good takes. Raff, floor is yours. I know this. When you did this during the drive, is this just Raff does the good take, or was this like a round table good takes?
Oh, it was just me. I'm back at the beginning of it. I had my theme song, which the people loved, but we had to retire it. Oh, I think that's one that probably gonna have to stay retired for a while. So we'll have to see. Maybe the fans out there will bring it out of me one time. But it was quite the rendition of Raff's good take. It was a beautiful song. I heard it hit #1 on the charts in Lincoln for like 3 weeks straight. It was pretty amazing.
I wouldn't deny it. I've heard you and AD singing before, and that definitely. I'm trying not to laugh. You got top 100.
Well, I've always felt pretty good about my singing because I always get the compliment that I can't carry a tune in a bucket. So I don't know, with that kind of compliment, I feel like I'm quite the singer.
I wouldn't. You know what? Never sell yourself short. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Today's Raff's good take goes out to a great friend of mine, Mike Figueroa. It's Mike's birthday today. Some people might know Mike. He is part owner of the End Zone downtown. He's a realtor around town. I met Mike some 20 plus years ago at an establishment called Dillinger's. Him and his wife, Polly, 2 just great people. So I just wanted to wish Mike a very happy birthday. And Mike, your Raff's good take.
That's a great one. I love the End Zone as well. So nice to put an actual name to the owner of that place. Yeah, that's a phenomenal one. I'll quick, since he came in here, and let's see, get to the text line real quick. All right, we got Aaron Davis in here. I guess we can wrap up with AD since he wants to get chimed in here. He says, Raff, I called Harrison Wolfman Jack, but he's too young to know who that is in terms of endearment. So maybe it did go over my head.
Yeah, we'll think about that. Maybe we can have him think of something maybe a little bit shorter. Maybe Wolfman Jack.
It's fun though. I'll tell you what. It's nice having you back here at nights, and then of course seeing AD as well. Now that Saturday's back, get to mix up with you guys, and it's fall. I cannot say it enough. I invite everyone who is a fan of just Husker sports in general, come check out the ticket. Raff, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to. Is there a Saturday where you think about swinging back to Lincoln and saying what's up to the crew?
Man, we're sure gonna try. I gotta talk to the wife. This whole married thing now. I've got to clear it with the boss now. All these years, I never had a boss, and now that I got a boss, I got to continue to ask her. What do you think, babe? So, I think there's a good chance you'll see us up there before the end of the year.
That'd be phenomenal. Because to the point I was saying, yeah, if you guys love Husker football or just Husker sports in general, come hang out at the ticket, especially on a Saturday when everyone's hanging around out and about. Even like the community shows, like Pete Ferguson's, the Malones, all those guys, they might stop in as well. And it's just a good way to meet a lot of the faces in the community right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. But with that being said, Raff, we got to get out of here. Final words, all yours.
Just like I say every day, everyone, just be nice to each other. Have a great rest of your night and have a great Wednesday. And we will talk to you tomorrow.
Men in Nebraska can be set in their ways, but they can also be quick to change their minds. Just 10 minutes can be enough to step back and rethink the life-ending decision of suicide. If you have a friend or family member who's struggling with depression, talk to them about temporarily storing their guns away from their home. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska